Hello F1 fanatics and welcome back to Undercut Unfiltered. We promise to cut through the chaos, controversies and carnage of Formula 1. And Baku, it had it all. This was an absolute roller coaster of chaos that tightened the championship entirely. If you want to have unfiltered deep dives after every race, make sure you subscribe and smash the bell icon because we are going to be here every weekend. Now, let's talk Baku. Max Verstappen delivered a dominant Grand Slam victory, but the real story began with the Quali Carnage that shuffled the entire grid. Championship leader Oscar Piastri then crashed out on lap 1 and Carlos Sainz gave Williams their first podium in years. Let's break it down. Segment 1. The Saturday Shock, Quali Carnage and Grid Flip. Saturday in Baku was absolute madness. High winds, rain, and a slippery track surface led to a record 6 red flags. That's the kind of stuff we see in Formula 2 but never in Formula 1. The grid was a complete lottery. Max Verstappen was the only one who made it look easy, snatching pole on a drying track when it mattered the most. Behind him though, shockwaves. Carlos Sainz pulled out the lap of the season for P2 in a Williams. Liam Lawson delivered P3 for Racing Bulls. Mercedes lined up close behind with Antonelli in P4 and Russell in P5. And quietly, Yuki Tsunoda produced his best qualifying of the year, putting his Red Bull P6. The losers, McLaren. Oscar Piastri smashed into the wall and started only P9. Lando Norris wasn't much better either, hitting the barrier and ending up P7. Ferrari struggled too. Leclerc could only manage P10 while Hamilton was stuck in P12. Both McLaren and Ferrari had to do it all on Sunday. Segment 2. McLaren Meltdown from gold to zero. If Saturday was bad, Sunday was brutal for McLaren. Oscar Piastri's race went wrong from the very start. I would like to call it a comedy of errors. He jump-started, locked up, dropped to last, then overpushed into turn 5 and slammed into the wall. From championship leader to lap 1 DNF. And here's the thing, this wasn't just a crash. It was the first real time Oscar Piastri had a crack in his armor. Until now, he looked ice cold under pressure. But Baku exposed nerves. For Lando Norris, this was a golden opportunity. With Piastri out on lap 1, the door was open to close the gap in the title fight. Instead, he lost a place to Leclerc in the safety car restart, got stuck in traffic, and then a slow pit stop sealed his fate. He never recovered and crossed the line in P7. When your teammate gives you a DNF, you take advantage, and Lando didn't. This was a swing race. Oscar handed Lando a gift, and Lando dropped it. Oscar's lead shrinks though from 31 to 25 points, but it could have been a whole lot worse. And McLaren left Baku looking more vulnerable than ever. Segment 3. Verstappen, the warning shot. While McLaren crumbled, Max Verstappen reminded everyone why he is a 4-time world champion. This was a Grand Slam. Pole, fastest lap, led every lap and the win. Absolute perfection. And it wasn't just the stats, it was the style. Safety car restarts, controlled with ice-cold precision. Tire wear, managed like clockwork lap after lap. Gaps built instantly as if the Red Bull was running in a different class. This was vintage Verstappen. The kind of dominance that defined his unstoppable 2021-24 run. But what makes this performance stand out is the timing. Just when Piastri and McLaren looked unshakable, Verstappen has strung together back-to-back wins. His first consecutive victories since Canada and Spain back in 2024. That kind of streak brings momentum. And in Formula 1, momentum can be everything. Make no mistake, 69 points to Piastri is still a mountain. But Verstappen thrives on mountains. When I say that, I do not mean he is some kind of a hitchhiker. He simply delivers when it matters the most. And Red Bull finally delivering a car worthy of his talent, this wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration. The championship isn't done yet and the fight isn't over. Segment 4. Fairy tale of Baku. Now let's talk about the real fairy tale. Carlos Sainz delivering a podium in Baku. For Sainz, this wasn't just P3, it was redemption. Ferrari let him go to bring in Hamilton, and many thought Williams was a step backwards for him. But on Sunday, he made Ferrari look like they made a wrong call. He outqualified both red cars on Saturday and then outraced them on Sunday. This was Carlos reminding the world of who he is: calm, composed, and ruthless when it counts. He absorbed pressure for 51 laps from faster cars behind and never put a wheel wrong. And maybe the best part, he did it with a smile. Sainz has always been the smooth operator, and this podium was the ultimate proof. Write him off at your own risk. Segment 5: Silver and Bull's Charge. Behind the fairy tale, two teams quietly had monster weekends. Mercedes' George Russell once again showed why he is becoming Mr. Consistent. Even battling illness, he kept his composure and delivered a P2 finish. He might not have the raw pace of McLaren, but he is stacking podiums and quietly proving he is one of the most reliable performers of 2025. Rookie Kimi Antonelli backed him up with a P4 finish, driving like a veteran. For Mercedes, this was a clear statement. The rebuild is working. The second team, Racing Bulls. Let's give Liam Lawson the flowers he deserves. This was a man who was dropped by Red Bull after just 2 races with no guaranteed seat for next year. Yet, in Baku, he was delivering big time. Best qualifying of his career on Saturday, best race finish on Sunday with P5, and it was no fluke. If anything, this might be the result that puts him back in conversation for a full-time seat. And rounding out the weekend, Isaac Hajar grabbed P10. Another point, another reminder that he absolutely deserves his place in Formula 1. Segment 6: Ferrari's flop. Ferrari brilliant on Friday, chaotic on Saturday, and irrelevant on Sunday. That's the story. And look, I am not gonna waste my time and energy on them. Hamilton is my favorite driver, which makes Ferrari my favorite team. But right now, they are painful to watch. After Monza, Tifosi had reason to hope. The car looked quick in practice, and Leclerc had an insane record here. 4 straight poles in Baku. But qualifying summed up Ferrari's season. Hamilton dumped out in Q2 and Leclerc straight into the barrier. The dream pairing, right now, it's a nightmare. And then that radio comedy on last lap. Hamilton trying to hand P8 back to Leclerc, it made no difference but created all the headlines. Classic Ferrari. If they are not fast, they will at least be dramatic. After the race, Hamilton was blunt. He said Leclerc didn't care about the last lap mishap. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. The car is slow and the fight for P2 is slipping away while Maranello looks half asleep. My message to Ferrari: wake up, fight for P2, do something. Segment 7: The battle behind McLaren. Baku wasn't just about drivers, it shook up the constructors' table too. Mercedes' big result has lifted them above Ferrari into second place with 290 points. Ferrari just behind on 286, and lurking close, Red Bull on 272, closing in on Ferrari and keeping the fight alive. In midfield, Williams' podium and Albon's points have pushed them clear in P5 with 101 points. Racing Bulls also cashed in, jumping Aston Martin thanks to Lawson and Hajar's double score. RB are now on 72 points, while Aston sit on 62. The fight for P2 and P5 will be going right down to the wire, and we are here for it. Unfiltered final verdict after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The fight is on. Here is where we stand. Oscar Piastri still leads, but his cushion is down to 25 points, the value of a single race win. Lando Norris had his chance to close the gap and didn't. Max Verstappen, he is roaring back with momentum, aura and a Grand Slam. The title fight is alive and kicking heading into Singapore. And here's the question. Did we just witness the first crack in Piastri's title run? Is Lando missing his moment? And could Max spoil the party late in the year? Drop your takes in the comments, hit like and share this with your fellow F1 fanatics. This has been Undercut Unfiltered, and we will be back after Singapore Grand Prix. Until then, drive fast, pit smart and never trust Ferrari's strategies.